One of the things I enjoy doing in life is watching what we have been told to call this. We've been told to call this nature. And people just repeat that, not really comprehending what it means. It kind of separates us from the surroundings. It's like listen to what we've been told, that man is the only like sentient being, and that's why we can treat other animals the way we do, because they don't realize that they're animals. They don't have a language and culture and all that, and you know. But we've been taught to call that nature, so we can separate it from us and make ourselves seem to be the most important entity among all of this. You look at this, from the light clouds, white, a little bit white. The birds, look at this, dark clouds, blue clouds. And over there, gray, dark gray. All around. And the sun almost hidden by the clouds. We've been taught to call that nature. And we are men. And those are animals and birds. They're separate and not equal. And we can treat them the way we want to. The funny thing is that while we were believing all this, the same person who had been teaching us to do this separated himself from all the other people on the planet. And he is the pinnacle of everything. On the bottom of even below the animals, is the African. I want you guys to think about that for a minute, because if you ask 100 Africans a question about what I just told you and his place, how many of them will tell you that we are at the bottom? How many Africans will repeat what the Caucasian man told us, that we are at the bottom? 50%? 60, 70, 80, 90%? Now we are all part of this so-called nature now. We depend on those trees and the earth for survival, for our lives. And once upon a time, before this evil came along, we used to see ourselves as a part of this nature. But now we don't. And you can see the destruction of that mindset all across Africa. All across Africa. Let's start from South Africa. And I told you 1 year ago, let me detour a little bit, that within 3 years, they're going to be coming after Africa. And you got 3 years at a maximum to get yourself together. They didn't even wait 3 years. Ethiopia, trying to put an end to that dam, which its value to East Africa is like formidable. If you look back at American history, you will see something called Hoover Dam. And what change that brought about in America. The Tennessee Valley Water Project. What change that brought about in America. So these water projects, there should be a dam in Congo that supply all of Central Africa with power and water. Lake Chad. There was a lake in the desert that was so huge that, hey, that lake should be restored. It will put a stop to the expansion of the Sahara Desert. But then again, like I said, I detoured. But let's go back to where we were. That you can see the destruction of this us against nature, black people on the bottom thing. Because they look at us and show the world, say, see, I told you about black people, look at this land that they got. They're not taking care of it. And the truth is, we're not. 60 years we were independent, as we say. But that word independent is misnomer because you're not independent. For 60 years you had your own leaders who were supposed to be making choices based on what you want. And for 60 years they didn't change anything. And in certain cases, what the Caucasian left when he left the land is now in such a state that, I mean, been destroyed. For 60 years, we have really shown the world that we're not, even if the world didn't believe the Caucasian when he said it, we are trying to prove it, that we are on the bottom by our actions. 60 years of inaction, really, when it comes to self-improvement. I went to England in 1974. And they had outhouses. I don't know if you know what an outhouse is. It's a toilet outside the house. Hole in the ground. Italy. 5-star hotel, a hole in the middle of the floor where you go to the toilet, take a pee or whatever, right there in front of everybody. And this was the people who said that they're greater than us. Our leaders accepted that. And so they did nothing to elevate our people. No knowledge, taught to the people. 99.5% of our people is lacking in good knowledge. We can only plant in the rainy season because the leaders and say, look, hey, let's put wells in every village. A good well now with plenty of water tanks that everybody can have gardens, and the whole village can plant 50, 60 hectares of food crops. A lot of our people leave and go to Europe. And surprised to find out that food there is cheaper than in Africa. Everything there is cheaper. They don't come back to Africa. Why? They don't tell African people, their families, why they're not coming back. The family is just happy that they're sending some money home, but they'll tell you why they're not coming back. You come here and you have to buy a banana that's imported from Italy or Spain. It costs 3 times as much as you pay for it in Spain. You buy the cheapest oil, buy all kind of third-rate vegetable oil that is destroying the mental and physical health of African people. But we don't grow the olives that can make a better oil. We have the land to do it. The knowledge is there. Everywhere the knowledge is. The knowledge is there. But no need for it. If you don't teach a man, he'll accept anything. He'll sleep in the sand outside and be happy. If you don't teach him that if you sleep in that sand, his health is at risk. Don't teach your people that you don't cut down the trees and brush. That tree and brush is what holds the sand together so your land don't flood and the dust blowing to the ear and cut short your health. 45, 50, 60 years old. Rest of the world living to be 100 years old. 60 years of our people being independent brought us to a point where now South Africa, one of the richest countries in the planet, wealthiest by commodity, can't power their own country. Have the wealth to power it, can't power it. And now any nation want to go after South Africa, they don't even have the military wherewithal to defend themselves. Not to win, but even defend. You know, tell me why it's like that. We're happy eating, going to the market every morning, buy food that's rotting. Half eaten by flies, rats, whatever the case might be. We go down to the market every day, buy it, bring it home, cook it for our families. We have to change this. Another 60 years is too long. It's almost two generations. Well, actually, it's going to be three generations that, if you count this generation, my generation, three. And then by the time the 60-year period come up, it'll be five generations. Close to five. Babies of the fifth generation being born. You want to put your great grandchildren through this. I know many of you don't really care, and me saying these things are kind of like upsetting, getting angry. But there's always a warning before the hurricane. You can look out there, season changing. See those dark gray clouds? That's the coming rainy season. Warnings. And nobody wants to pay attention. The leaders are not going to pay attention because they don't have to worry about that. It's like that lady from, poverty and corruption don't affect me and you people in the room with me. That is, that when I saw that, it got burned into my psyche. It's like the one EU guy, he's got to go to the jungle and turn it into his garden. How many Africans pay attention to this? Did you hear this and you go home and tell your friends about it? Out of 100, how much would you say? Two, three, four? I mean, if you turn on your phone and listen to music, and people arguing and fighting all day long, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube. How many of your women are naked in front of a camera trying to make some dollars so she can go down and buy false eyelids and nails and shoes? And then 10 years later, she's got 5 children, no husband, and standing outside of the supermarket. The warning signs are there. It's time to pay attention to what's happening. Don't blame me. Don't get up. You can get upset at me. It doesn't matter. You know, if I stop doing this, not only one person is going to come along, but it's at the point where everywhere you turn is going to be in your ear. And all the religious book tells you that at one point in time, all y'all going to want to kill yourselves. You're going to want to kill your souls to get away from this. So it's up to you. As I said the other day, find a community. Find a community. You say your tribe. Nope. Your tribe is not going to. That's how we got to slavery in the Caribbean and Americas. This tribal thing. It's the difference between tribe and community. That's a story for another day, though. But today, I'm telling you to look at the signs of the coming. The seasons are changing. Are you prepared? All right. Have a great day wherever you are. I hope you will enjoy your day. This is just information now. You can take it or leave it. It's just knowledge. It's up to you. Somebody's going to use it, somebody's going to discard it. And I've seen so many times when people use their knowledge, and then the people who discard it come to beg them. Say, I'm hungry. But the two of us were in the same class together. How is it that you got into that position? Man, you don't want to hear this story. Man, you don't want to how bad things went. The same class now. One was playing around, throwing paper around the class, watching YouTube. You were Instagramming. One guy, 2, 3 maybe. The whole class, 40 people, were trying to listen to the teacher. All right, as I was saying, have a great day wherever you are. Peace.